So you 29. Moon, are you in a relationship?
No.
Okay.
Why not?
Did you? Oh,
I'm just not.
Do
did
you
you
want
go
to?
to college, Moon?
Which one am I answering?
Oh,
Answer the link question.
Yeah, I went to college.
what do you have your degree in?
Accounting.
Go ahead,
Why did you
y'all.
choose accounting?
Say again.
Why did you choose accounting?
I thought it would be a safe play on the job market.
What do you mean by safe?
That I would have a chance to get a job and be paid somewhere comfortable.
Which? Why is it important to work?
Take care of yourself.
What's your views on the nuclear family?
Uh, like rephrase. What do you mean?
You know what the nuclear family is?
I know that's what they talk about here on the internet. Um,
Is it
Man,
important for you to get married and have a two-parent household?
I would like to be married. I would like to have a two-parent household. Is it
Would,
extremely serious to me? No.
would you like to have a partner that you can take care of? Like they stay at home and you take care of them?
If that's what they want,
No, but what I'm saying for you, how would you
I,
feel?
I don't necessarily. I would like for that person to do what they want to do. Like if they want to be a stay-at-home person and it works for us, I'm okay with that. But if they don't, I don't. It doesn't bother me either.
Have you ever been in that dynamic?
Yeah.
And and who idea was it?
It really wasn't an idea. It just kind of made sense. She was still in school, finishing her master's, and I was already working. So I just worked and paid everything while she finished school.
And you was okay with that?
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been the other way if it was the other way around? You would have been comfortable with it, like a woman supporting you.
I don't think I would have been comfortable like in the face of the world. I would have been comfortable at home, but
What do you mean in the face of the world?
that's not normally a dynamic men are proud of. And if you are proud of it, it's not something the world is going to pat you on the back for.
So you wouldn't
For
necessarily
being
be
a
proud.
stay-at-home?
Yeah.
Mm. So would you be a stay-at-home husband?
If it made sense. And truth be told, I think I have too many ambitions that would keep me from being like settled at home. Like I'd be okay with the dynamic, but I think there are goals I still want to accomplish that would hinder that process. So, if it made the most sense and it was best for like if we were raising kids or something, if that was the best setup, then I'd do it. But I can't say that it's something I'd just sign up for.
Let me ask you a question. When it comes to kids, what's the difference between girls and boys?
Um, Not really anything.
So as a kid, were you much different from girls, or you was the same?
I, I'd say I'd say we were pretty much the same. Might have been treated a little different.
So there was no distinct differences for you being a boy, nothing in your personality at all.
Besides the interest that they lean boys into and the interest they lean girls into, nah, you're just kids.
So what's about as an adult? Can you distinguish the difference between yourself and a woman, or is it the same on paper?
I mean, the non-political answers. I mean, I think most of the
No,
time,
no, I want an honest answer.
I think I can look across the aisle and see what I'd assume is a woman, and that's what I would say is difference. It's just that there's a woman, and
And
I'm
then
with.
personality, you don't think any personality differences. So you think you went through like living in a patriarchal society, being unscathed by gender roles in totality? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's mostly just roles and things that society have told us are okay to do
And you
as
don't
men.
think it impact you at all?
No, it definitely did.
That's what I'm asking. You're not giving any answer on it.
So maybe ask again. Maybe I'm misunderstanding.
Okay, so how did the gender roles influence you and your identity?
You could maybe
I
even
think
go
that
back to the relationship where you were paying the bills. Like, what were the gender roles in that? How did anything come up in that?
I wouldn't say that there were roles per se, and it may have just been how I was raised because I like to cook, so she didn't have to cook. She was better at cleaning. It's not like I was avoiding cleaning, but I think she was a little bit more thorough. So she handled the back end of what I left behind. I think it's a good way to describe it. But I wouldn't say that there were any roles like you do this and I do that. She spent more time with our son just because she was at home. But yeah,
I
Who
got a
Kenny, who was doing more, you or her?
uh, she was probably doing more.
Probably or was.
I don't know how to quantify that because I can't say what her experience was at home. I don't think that we never had a conversation where she felt overwhelmed at home. I know that at times I felt overwhelmed at work and handling a lot of other things. That
So
was
she
my
was at
first.
home with the child, and you still think is up in the air. That's interesting. Who wanted to ask the question?
I did kind of on the same track as what Tara's talking about. If we were to ask you, how do you conceptualize feminism or like women's liberation? Like, what would you think that women are wanting?
Autonomy.
How do you think that translate? Like with the word equality, do you think it's equality or equity?
I think it's neither. I think they just well, sit in the climate of today's society, like where we've come from, equity needs to be there just because of the systemic oppressions that still exist. But I think women just want the choice to do whatever it is they want to without receiving backlash or told that they're not feminine enough or that's not a woman's role.
Okay, that was the only question I had so far.
Why did your relationship end? The one that you were just talking about?
I'd say it was a number of things. After we got engaged, a few more of our personal secrets came out that happened during like just the relationship, and it killed the intimacy a little bit, especially on my side. So around like 3 or 4 months after our big talk, she expressed that it didn't feel like a relationship anymore, and I just said I still need more time, and she wasn't comfortable with that, so we broke up.
Okay,
Was
so there
the
were secrets on
information?
her end or
Yeah,
yours?
thank you.
No, it was her end.
Okay, what was it involving?
Um, not infidelities, but you could imagine things in that realm.
So like emotionally having an affair or whatever they call it?
No. So there were some stories that were told about some things that um we had a breakup. So it wasn't infidelity, but the way that one story was told, it kind of popped up and blew up in her face in another way. So she kind of had to admit to everything. And although it wasn't a deal breaker, it just took some time to process. And I wasn't ready to go forward, at least at that time. I was willing to, I just needed some time. And she felt like she had been at least emotionally broken up with, which is fair. We were sleeping in opposite rooms. I wasn't really being intimate anymore. So
So
But y'all were on a break.
you or she like saw other people while you were broken up.
yeah,
Now, did you see other people while you were broken up?
yep.
So it was a problem for her, but not for you.
So to be fair, like the issue was that it wasn't that we saw other people. It was that she lied about it, and the lie wasn't the issue. It was that she demonized me dating someone else. Kind of made me feel really bad for it, and I was like I took ownership for that. We got back together. I engaged. I proposed. She felt guilty, and then it was multiple people, and it was everyone that she made sure to get everyone she told me not to worry about. So she made sure she, stuck her foot in the dirt and got me good. So I'm not saying that it wasn't a deal breaker. I needed more time to work through that. So and she wasn't willing. It had been like 2 or 3 months since we talked about it, and she was like, "I just can't do this." So
Can I ask why? Why wasn't it a deal breaker?
because I saw her as more than the actions at the time. Like it, people make mistakes, and I try not to take them personal. Like people make selfish mistakes. I make selfish mistakes. So like I didn't really take it as malice. I took it as her finding a way to cope with the breakup, and it didn't
Did you
harm the
feel
homies.
like
Oh,
did you feel like you needed to punish her for a while?
No, I really needed to get back to a space where I felt comfortable being intimate. I wasn't like stonewalling her or anything. I just wasn't as intimate as I was before, and it had nothing to do with her. I just couldn't handle it.
so
So when
I
you,
want to go back. Oh, who was
I
that?
just real,
Tara?
yeah, just real quick. Um, so when you proposed, you thought y'all was ready for marriage, but y'all couldn't get past this hurdle.
Well, to be fair, I think I still to the, at least at the time, like me looking back at what my mindset was at that time, I think we could have gotten through it. I really just think her ego was like he being weird, and she was also like insecure that I was just gonna wake up one day and leave her. So she kind of just pulled the plug a little early.
So how
But
did you contribute to like? Because it sound like because we getting your side of the story, but how did you contribute to like basically how this relationship just dissolved?
this I was distant. Like I said, I was sleeping in our second room. She was sleeping alone. There were no more kisses. There were no intimate touches. We weren't going on dates.
So you were punishing her.
It wasn't punishment. I wasn't outwardly like using this as leverage, like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna touch you anymore because you did this to me. I could not handle being intimate with her because it was messing with me. I needed just a little bit of space. I still interacted with her regularly. I wasn't like being mean at the house or we weren't arguing, but I was a bit distant.
Did
So,
you feel like
oh, y'all can keep y'all. If you got a question about this, I was gonna ask something else.
no? Go ahead. We can change it.
All right, I was gonna ask. I wanted to go back to the misogyny thing and the patriarchy thing that Mia was asking you about. Would you say that you understand misogyny, and feminism more than any other man? Like, would you say that you're a feminist?
Nah. Uh-uh.
No.
Mm-mm.
So you wouldn't say you don't think you have a deeper understanding of misogyny and like patriarchy than most men?
I would say I would think. I think. I wouldn't
You
say, but I
think?
think I have a
No,
I
that's
think I have
acceptable.
yeah, I think I have a bigger understanding than I think what most men are willing to learn about it. And the reason I say that I'm not a feminist or uh anything like that is just because I don't think I fully understand a woman's gripe. Like I always say that, even as a white person, you could have been an abolitionist, you could have been an advocate for the community, if you will. But a lot of the opinions that I have are from like a bird's eye view. And I think the only way that you can understand someone's oppression is if you experience their oppression. And that's kind of it.
Where did you how did you gather the understanding that you have now?
Through parallels, like there aren't many differences between different levels of oppression, like the way we experience oppression from white people, I would assume would be similar to the way women experience oppression from men, the LGBT community. Like it's not all that different. And even when white people think they've made it leaps and bounds into, being a ally and they understand racism, they still slip up and say racist stuff or repost something racist or are involved in racist, harmful rhetoric. So even when we think we're doing good, there's still a lot of work to be done.
Do
I
you have
used
self awareness?
Say again.
Do you have self awareness?
Yeah, I'd like to say I'm pretty hyper aware.
So let us tell us a selfish reason why you want to uphold patriarchy.
A selfish reason why I want to uphold patriarchy.
Hmm.
I don't know if that exists.
You don't think that exists?
No, I don't see it as beneficial.
I got a question. It's kind of complicated, so let me see. Um, with like, I know you said that you have like a bird's eye view understanding of what women go through, but you can kind of understand it from a racist lens. How do you think with the patriarchy and how women have been socialized? How do you think well, let me ask you like this. Do you think that sometimes men, even when they do understand, they're still benefiting from like being able to be intimate with women? Like, and with the benefit I'm talking about is because all women are affected by the patriarchy, the benefit of them being socialized a certain way is always going to be there. Um, do you believe, I don't know if I asked you, I don't lost my train of thought, but let me re-ask it again because I can't remember if I asked you, if I just wanted to explain it. But do you think that men, even when they understand the harm that women may experience, do you think that they benefit from it by having access to them intimately, romantically in a relationship?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my only question. I didn't know somebody else wanted to say something.
So you said that you don't have any selfish reasons. How does patriarchy benefit you as a person?
I don't know if I would say it's beneficial, but like at least in the male experience, like the the way patriarchy is set up, there are certain things that you can do that since women are also under or have been groomed under patriarchal society that will garner certain privileges, like certain ways that you act, cookie
Like,
cutter sets, cookie cutter
I know.
sets.
Okay, that's vague.
so I want to know.
But I was going to explain. I was going to go deeper, but
Oh, okay.
so like for instance, the just dating, like interacting with women. There are certain cookie cutter phrases, word appropriate answers. I do this, I pay for this, I build this, I'm this, that will earn you points. And, even acting those things out will earn you points. And because women see that, or even maybe desire a man that will do those things, you may not be those things, but if you're good enough at acting them out, it'll get you the access that
Give
you
me
may
an example.
desire. So for instance, a man who is broke has enough money in his recruitment budget to take you on multiple dates at the beginning of dating, and he displays himself as a provider, neat, put together. You go over to his home the first time, and everything's neat and where it's supposed to be. At face value, it looks like you've got a man's man, and then 3 or 4 months down the line, you realize you've got something else, and you've been tricked. I just think that because there are a set of um, there are a set of desired attributes that I think at least 50% of women in society may desire from a man. As long as you can exhibit a lot of those, you can attract the mate that you're looking for. It's beneficial. You participate in the patriarchy and you get the other side of the patriarchy.
So with understanding the patriarchy and how it works and how men benefit from it, um, do you So I want to. Do you participate in sex before marriage?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that that's Do you think that that's like kind of you benefiting from the patriarchy?
Um, I don't know. Is the opposite, or is there another society where that would be different? Because it is what I'm asking is that solely because of the patriarchy that women participate in premarital sex?
Based on what you know, what do you think?
I mean, I don't personally think so, but
It's not, it might not be solely because of the patriarchy, but understanding how, like back to my question earlier, understanding how women are socialized under the patriarchy, and you don't know how that affects them. All you know is that it potentially can benefit you. Them having access to premarital sex, how do you think that, I forgot how he asked, but that is that could be contributed to the patriarchy. You being
Yeah,
able to have access to that.
if there were a way for me to understand how it directly correlated to the patriarchy, I mean,
So do you think in
I got it. Wait.
go ahead.
So, do you see how sometimes we say that dating and marriage can be forms of sex work, and having premarital sex and also doing it in the bonds of a marriage can be a type of sex work?
mm, yeah,
It
yeah,
can go back to the example you just gave, right? About like how men could use the patriarchy to benefit them. You understand that under the patriarchy, the way women are conditioned, uh that is not actually 100% consensual whenever you lay with a woman. Do you understand that? Because of the way women are conditioned.
yeah. That's a fair argument.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. I was struggling from my nappy nap.
We ain't gonna talk about that net, but so with how have you unpacked your own thinking? Like talk about some of the harmful hate behaviors you've participated in and you're like currently unpacking.
This feels like therapy. Um, I think as a younger man, uh, may have treated women as more. I think like most men see women as more as
No,
like
don't talk
human.
about most men. Make sure you focusing solely on yourself.
Yeah. I think really just unpacking a lot of like insecurities that weren't really based in who I was dating, like concerns about like a woman's body count or exes, comparing myself to them or however many partners there may have been. I think getting rid of the idea that women were supposed to be these extremely pure beings. So like anything that they did that was dirty or closer to being a man made them like less in value. Learning that they were just as human as we are, and that they didn't need to be held to this perfect standard that was unrealistic.
What's the direct way you've harmed a woman because of your male chauvinism?
Uh, Probably just shame in the ways that I just described.
No, like I want you to talk about a scenario, but you can like because you're unpacking. I'm pretty sure you got a whole file cabinet of experiences. Tell us about a time when you were harmful to a woman.
um, I'm not even being that guy. I'm looking for a scenario.
It's fine. It's fine. Ask and answer. Do you have friends?
Yeah.
You have male and female friends.
Yep.
Tell us like some of describe like your friends. Are they the typical like for your male friends? Are they typical men or what's different about them?
Ain't nothing different. They typical men.
And what do you have in common with them that you call them your friend?
A lot of my friends are no longer commonalities. They're just time. I've had the same friends forever. If they're new friends, it's work or mutuals. But
Do you find that when you're around your group of friends, you perform a little differently?
I am more comfortable being outgoing, and yeah, that's it. I'm just more outgoing around my friends.
What type of
What
things do your friends say that you don't like? You don't check. Like you may have felt uncomfortable with. You knew it was inappropriate, but you haven't said anything about.
That's those are things men gotta grow through. But I'll say like there was a time we're no longer friends anymore. I think I've gotten good at trying to get rid of those and nip those in the bud. But like 3 or 4 years ago, there was a guy who he used to yell at his girlfriend a whole lot, like a whole lot. They used to argue, and we kind of, I and the rest of us would kind of just be around, like, is this is kind of normal? And it wasn't just her. Like he was an animal abuser. Like there were times I was around and I've watched him full blown body slam a pit
Were you
bull.
scared of him?
Nah, just complicit in his acts. This,
Why weren't you afraid of him?
like I tried to fight him afterwards. He's not a big guy. It's just at the time I was just complicit in his acts. I didn't know. I was kind of gaslighting myself. Like, am I seeing this right? Is my perspective? Am I tripping? Kind of just froze in the situation and not really being, for lack of better words, man enough to step in and say something. But
What do you think? What's a give 5 attributes of a good woman, Moon?
I don't think. I think good attributes would be like good for anyone. I don't know that they would just be
I'm talking about
specific
your
for
ex.
women.
You talk about your ex. I'm pretty
For
sure.
you,
Yeah.
Say again.
You're talking
like
about
a good woman for you. Like what are 5 things that will make a good woman for you?
Um, I would say kind, patient, driven in some way, form, or fashion. What's a word for what's a someone who could change their mind, adaptable, isn't too stern in their opinions, will is willing to learn. Um and
All right, what makes you a do you think you a good man?
I think I try to be. I ain't gonna say I'm a good man, no.
All right, what are some things that make you a decent man?
I think I'm
Give me
patient.
3
I think I'm
or
patient most of the time. I'm very, very, very willing to say I'm wrong, and not like in a condescending way. But my favorite saying is right. I mean, wrong today, right tomorrow. And I think I've somewhat mastered a form of gentle love that kind of matches the way like I do gentle parenting with my son. So like the way that I try not to take people's mistakes personally and just work with the issue. I think that yeah, I think my conflict resolution is pretty safe.
yeah, Moon boring. That's why we wasn't able to do it last time. I remember now.
I mean, a few things he's not being honest about. He's not being reflective enough and open
You
about.
think?
Yeah, most
Well, could
definitely.
I could be being a little
Hold up.
vague, a
Hold
little
up.
dense.
Hold up. Even in what he just described for himself and his partner is giving an extension of himself. He's talking about he wants somebody. Essentially, he's thinking about himself. What he would like, and then when he said his gentleness, his ability to adapt, and the other one he said they align what he wanted for his partner. It's definitely there.
Also, the saying that she could stay home if she wants, but also a good woman is someone who's ambitious.
Well, you can be ambitious at home.
So, Moon,
You
can you?
holding back? You holding back, Moon?
I'm holding back. You can be. I said. I didn't even say vaguely ambitious.
So
I said I
my
said
question
ambitious.
is, hold up. My question is, why can't you be honest about how you're problematic and the fact that you're saying you're progressive, right? But you still have the same set of friends who I'm pretty sure say the same problematic things, but you didn't want to talk about them. You want to talk about the extreme from years ago. So like I wanted you to talk about the problematic things your friends say till this day that you don't clock and you don't check. Like you'll do it here online, I'm
I'm gonna
sure.
keep it a bean. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I'm probably the most insufferable male friend to have. Like a lot of my content on my TikToks are directed at a conversation I just had with a male friend. If it's a Trump video, it's because one of my homeboys is a Trump supporter. I'm gonna keep bullying him for it. Or that video I put up that was like, how long is it gonna take for us to believe victims? Multiple of my friends responded to that. Like, what do you mean Haley was found to be wrong? And I was like, yeah, I didn't include any names for that reason. You still stuck on that situation. Like most of the time, I'm the annoying friend I'm like the contrarian of the group. And
Well,
So
hold
they
on though, because you include. Here's the thing, though, about that is that we, and men in particular, like will talk all day long in generalities about how you should believe victims and like, you know, blah 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 blah, wax poetic about it until an actual victim is in front of their face. And then there's all these other extenuating circumstances, all these reasons that she can't be believed. When it comes down to specific, it's easy to say believe victims. It's a lot more difficult to look at a situation which is always going to be nuanced, right? Always going to be nuanced. There's always going to be things that the guy's going to try to point to. He's going to try to play victim. It happens every single time. It's a lot more difficult to look at a situation, a specific situation, and say, no, this woman was the victim. And you're not being helpful if you only believe victims until a victim actually shows up.
Yeah, so that's correct. What you're describing is like perfect victim fallacy. I don't, and I think I've definitely participated in it before. But again, that's why I said I learned through drawing parallels. There are, like, most recently, the young man who was punched in the face multiple times with when the police broke his window and he didn't want to give him his information, whatever else. Everyone has the discussion about what he could have done to put himself in a better position. The issue is that it completely excuses what happened after. And even though he may have made some mistakes, it didn't mean that he deserved what ended. So in that parallel, just using that as a parallel, I can understand that, yeah, maybe a woman or a victim in general could have done anything that made their situation a little bit safer. It doesn't mean that they were going to be completely safe. So no, I don't hold victims to the standard that I would someone that is seen as the abuser in a scenario, especially someone with what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe more power, more strength, more anything in the situation, more leverage, if you will.
So, aside from this talk surrounding like victimhood and stuff like that, what it sounds like to me when you mention like your friends and them having problems is that you don't like being alone.
Say again.
You don't like being alone. Like you can't leave your friends alone. Like
Nah, I think
no.
most of my time is spent alone. Most of my communication with my friends is via group messages. So like in the
Well,
city I
I
live
mean,
in,
like it's typical. I mean, you said it though. It's typical male behavior. Like
yeah.
you got bad friends, but you can't leave your friends alone because it's time, it's history. So it's like we ride.
Yeah, I think
And
I've kind of just accepted them for that they're gonna be that. And a lot of especially the older guys, the most we're gonna do is argue. It's kind of like these TikTok lives that are circular. I can argue all day my opinions on things. They're either gonna call me a pander, say I'm simping, or and we're just gonna argue in circles until niggas want to play basketball, and that's really how it goes.
If you're
so then
dealing
you
with
just
the
stay in community with them?
Say again.
So you're just going to stay in community with them and not say it then because it's just going to be a waste of time? It's going to be an argument?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. Let's say you're dealing with like an insecurity or like how you made it fell short in a situation. Who do you call first?
Ooh. Um. Is it safe to say I don't?
So would you say that these are associates or these your actual friends?
No, these are my friends. Am I vulnerable enough to do that? Probably not.
What about in a relationship? Are you vulnerable in your relationships?
Yeah.
So do you typically, if you was in a relationship, would you go to your partner?
Yeah, but only because I think that my emotions are gonna show up like in places. Like I'm either gonna be standoffish or I'm not gonna interact as much as I normally would. Like I would like for them to have an understanding of why I may be distant. Whereas with my friends, like we don't talk enough for them to notice any of my emotional changes. So like it's not gonna impede on them.
So have your friends ever like clocked you for something?
Yeah. I don't know that I'd agree with them, but
What did they say?
uh, I think like most recently, the last person that I was like dating, I was talking to my homeboy about it, and he just said I was being extremely avoidant, like with my emotions about the situation. He probably was right. It didn't mean I was gonna fix it though. So
Why did you say you disagree?
Well, I mean, that in that specific situation, I know I was being avoided. I don't agree. I don't disagree with that one, but
And why did you say you wouldn't want to fix it?
because that's just where I was. I was being stubborn in that moment, and I still am, to be honest.
And why do you think you are emotionally distant from people that way?
Well, I wasn't emotionally distant from her, just the way things ended, and I don't really like once I like think I stamped something closed, like it's done. I don't like to rehash. I give it a little bit of time. Um, those situations can feel like shameful, embarrassing, or whatever else, and I just like fresh out of it. I don't be ready to go through. I don't be ready to go through those raw emotions, so I wait a while. I.e., be avoidant.
So let's say if your partner, your last partner, y'all had worked out and y'all got married, what would change once you got married?
Um, Nothing.
Then why did you want to get married?
Cultural reasons, family reasons. I've been taught that that's the way to go about things. So it's also a way to show your woman that you're, serious long term, expecting to spend a life with someone. But if it were no societal pressures, no teachings, no culture, would I care about marriage? Absolutely not.
When it didn't work out, were you relieved?
When I was engaged,
When the relationship did not work out, were you relieved?
oh no, I'm never relieving a relationship doesn't work out. Unless if there was like infidelity or something, and even then, it's still like that didn't need to happen. It's never a feeling of relief.
Um, I think part of the reason why it's hard to like get the question because you tend to be vague about a lot of things. Come across like you hiding something.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's a TikTok live. I don't know how raw and unfiltered I'm supposed to be about my life, but I think I've invited in quite a bit information. I mean but that's fair.
Yeah, I
But
understand that.
like,
Go ahead.
if if like say there was something you could identify that you're working on that's an issue, because we can hear some, right? What would happen? What would it mean for you to say this is a thing my friends do that I notice that I'm complicit in, or I notice I still do this, or I need to work? Like, would that make you feel less than? Does it scare you? What's the feeling behind that? Because there's a protection. It sounds like.
I don't think there's really a feeling behind it. Um, I think in hindsight, like when you look back on the situations where you realize you were complicit, it feels somewhat shameful. But I don't have a problem with saying I was here and I should have did this, or I feel like now I would act this way. I don't have a problem with that.
No, no, I don't mean the past. I mean now. I mean right now,
Like what?
today.
So you're asking for like current
Now, like
things.
you, because we're asking you that over and over, and you can't name one thing that you currently do,
I, so to
or
be
one way
fair,
that
I don't. I
the
don't think
system
that
is privileging you, or anything. Like,
has it. Again, I think I'm misunderstanding, but I don't think I've been asked specifically. Right now, what are you working on, or how is patriarchy benefiting you today? Because there are many of things.
But I did say that.
So like currently, I would say I'm working on, and I don't know if it has anything to do with patriarchy, but most of the time, I will if I think I'm right in a situation, like regardless of how somebody's feelings were impacted, most of the time I don't have much empathy for it. And that's just firsthand reaction. Like if I'm right in this argument, I really don't care what feelings come after. And that's problematic because right, wrong, or indifferent, somebody's reality is still right. And I won't say in the heat of the moment that I'll accept that. And I probably should be able to, but a lot of the time it feels like I don't know if it's ego, but I have to gaslight myself and pretend that I'm not right and play in the reality of somebody else's experience, and it avoids my experience. I don't know, but you can see how complicated that sounds. That's something I think I'm working on, but
Yeah, it just come across like real safe. I don't know.
Well, I mean that's fair because even when the men hear me talk, it sounds like pandering. So if it either way, if it's too vague, if it's too say, I don't know what y'all want me to say
Even
about
no,
something.
even let me give you an example. We talk about internalized misogyny. There's a lot of honest things we have to say with ourselves. And even if it sounds harmful on the surface, it is what it is, right? One of the topics I talk about when I did colorism about when it comes to an opportunity, if it's something I dreamt about, and I'm noticing that I'm getting a opportunity over a light skin, I mean, a dark skinned woman, I would take it. That's fucked up, but I'm being honest about it, and this is a level of honesty that's missing. That's the problem. And it becomes hard to like honestly survey somebody who just like you're very closed off, very surface level. But what's up, Iman? Is it Iman?
Hi,
How you doing?
yes, Iman, you're right. I had a couple questions. I think there was one question that was asked to Moon, but I don't think we've gone far with it. I want to go back a little bit, and Moon, I want to ask you a question. You said you participate in casual schmecks, right?
No, I said premarital, not casual. If
Okay,
that's still
so
casual, then that's fair. But
yeah, in a sense, it is still casual. You're right. How would you say? You don't have to recall all your relationships, but how would you say? How would you describe your dynamic? The dynamics of those relationships where you had premarital schmecks.
when you say dynamic, because I've only been in maybe two relationships where we just shared or shared living space, sort of. So when you say describe the dynamics, what are you asking specifically?
I guess I'm asking half and half, like the reality of your relationships and also the emotional aspect. Are there I get on the emotional aspect, I'm asking when Schmex is involved, do you find yourself in situations where you feel like your partner is more emotionally invested, or do you find yourself to be more emotionally invested? And also, can you guys still hear me? It says poor connection.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, and then on the reality side, when Schmex is involved, do you find yourself, like, for example, like having to be more financially invested in a way where you're kind of is expected of you to pick up the tab and things of the sort? Like those the dynamics I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think yeah. Pay for this. Carry luggage bags, open doors, the regular shebang. Yeah.
Okay, what about the emotional aspect?
Well, he already said
Um,
he emotionally detached. That's the
I said I
thing.
was emotionally detached from that. I am first of all.
I don't know. I mean, if you didn't say that, fine. But you definitely got some type of disassociation thing
But
going.
I don't though. It was crazy is I'm the
Uh,
clingy, overloving, overbearing,
no,
emotional.
you
Let's
said
talk.
avoid. You said avoid it.
But I was
Avoidant.
avoidant to the ending of something. I didn't want to talk through why the relationship ended. It was done, and I'm like, that we're not going to be able to reconcile that. I'm not ready to unpack those demons man to man with my best friend at the time. So, and he like, you being avoidant. You need to talk through these issues. I'm like, yeah, we'll get to that. But I'm not avoidant to my partners.
Okay, so you're basically, I guess, in a way, detached in the beginning and the end stages, basically, is what you're saying.
No, I'm
Or
I'm
when you're in the
saying
thick of it, you're pretty attached.
I'm saying that once a door is closed, once I think that there's no fixing, like we're not going to be able to come to an agreement and get back together or fix. At least in the heat of that moment, for a little, there's no point in talking about it to me, and I really don't want to. Like right now, I'm focused on moving on. So I'm not avoidant, and I think the situation where I said that me and my kid's mom were going through a period where I was detached and I wasn't like physically there for her emotionally, like I was very distant while I processed how I was feeling. for that 2 or 3 months, that may have painted a picture of me being avoidant in relationships, but that's not the case.
Okay. In
Well,
those 2 or 3 months, were you actively involved in taking care of your offspring, your child?
Yeah, none of that changed, but just us interacting outside of maybe like TV talk over the couch, that was probably the ceiling for that.
all right. Um, Anybody
I
else want
guess
to ask
my
something?
Yeah, I guess somebody had brought up how or premarital sex is, I guess, beneficial to the man. I don't know who asked the question, but I also kind of wanted to hear from them because he did say that he doesn't see the correlation between premarital sex and patriarchy.
Yeah, but
Like
that's what
he
I'm saying. For the
doesn't.
sake of doing a survey, we ain't getting away with a survey, to be honest. Like, I'm pretty sure Moon got his reasons for being guarded, but like, it can't, like, it is like I said, like it's a level of honesty that's necessary. And if we talking
What
about,
level of honesty is
hold
missing
up,
here
Can
though?
hold
Because
up.
I'm not
Moon,
seeing.
no, 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 no. So like, for example, like you call these people your friends, they're not really your friends, and you think you better than them people. To be honest, I'm not saying you're not. You clearly think you better than them, right? You want to come online and basically sun them. Got it, right? But you also haven't made an effort to build new community. Like that's the way that you isolate when it comes to admitting like how you participate in patriarchy is very generic. You're not saying like the more sinister things parts of yourself. Those things you don't want to open up about.
can I ask a question real quick? What are your 3 favorite movies, Moon?
Eagle Eye, the one with Justin Timberlake, drawing blanks.
Okay, so you can just name one if you want, if
Yeah,
that's
that's
easier.
fine.
Okay, what about musical artists?
Um, Party Next Door.
Did you have 2 others for that one?
Brent Faiyaz, Chase Shakur.
Okay, what about books? Do you read?
No.
Okay, so all right.
Are all of those men?
Those are all men. That's correct.
Mm. All right, let's go through this criteria, y'all. All right, can somebody do the survey? Can somebody do the poll for me? Can I get somebody volunteer to do the poll?
I'm trying to remember how to do it. Hold on. Give me a second. I think I remember now.
You jamming?
Girl, that's a fucking TV show. Hold on. I know it's a way to do. Maybe it's this. Okay, I found it.
All right, smiley face emoji. Hold on, real
Wait,
quick.
no. Wait, hold on. I thought I found it. Wait a minute.
Smiley face emoji is yes, y'all. Crying face emoji. I got these backwards. No, ignore this. Smiley face is supposed to be yes.
That's what it
Whatever.
says. That's what
Smiley
it.
face is yes, and then crying face emoji is no. I don't know how I got that shit mixed up.
But hold on.
Um,
Wait. Where would the emojis like? Where is the poll
it's
for?
the quick poll. It's the quick poll, and I could do both of them. It's just
Oh wait, I see. Hold on. I got it. I got it. I got it.
all right. So the first one will be grandiosity and self-importance. Do y'all think that he has this? Yes. If not, you'll put no. Oh, it's on the screen. Smiley face for yes. Crying face emoji for no.
Wait. Oh shit. I thought I had it. It don't give me the.
I got it. I got it. There you go.
It don't give me the option.
I don't know if y'all sleeping on the panel, but either way, yes or no.
I say yes.
I say
I
yes as
say
well.
yes. Yeah.
We need 7 people in the chat. There's at 6. If you can vote, you vote. You just gotta hit tap the emoji.
Yeah,
We're gonna do.
emoji.
We're gonna do. We're gonna do 6. Next one would be fantasies of success, power. Fantasy of success, power, perfection. Well, I keep reading it wrong. Perfection and power.
So number 2 is fantasy of success, perfection, and power. I say yes.
I say yes as well.
I say yes.
That's a new poll, y'all. Yes or no? Yeah, yes on this one.
Yeah, I say yes.
You got it.
All right. It's taking me a little longer. I do both of them. All right. Number 3, a strong conviction of being special or unique. This is most definitely a yes for me.
That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Damn, the chat said hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's 7. So I'm about to start a new one, y'all. The next one is a need for admiration or praise. It's a yes for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, chat.
Okay.
That one I'm a little more on the fence about.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
We gotta know. So I need we need more than for the yeses.
If y'all think number 4 is a yes, smiley face. If it got 2 for no, so I don't know.
But the poll about to end, so we're gonna go with yes. So the next one is entitlement.
Entitlement.
Mm,
I don't know.
Where's the voting button?
I'm trying to do both of them. Y'all gotta give me some time.
Oh, okay.
it's at the bottom. You say vote
I
now.
don't know.
What do y'all
Um,
think on the panel? Entitlement.
I say yes because I think it's male entitlement just in general, but I
Yeah.
think yes personally.
I would say in general yes, but I didn't hear anything specifically that I thought was like very entitled.
But
I don't know what to say.
the chat said no, so it don't.
Yeah, I say no.
I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think if we'd have got more to the relationship, it probably would have popped up. But no, that's fair to say no.
Yeah.
All right. The next one is patterns of exploiting. It should say exploiting others for personal gain.
I would say yes, but like in an unaware way. No, never mind.
Yeah.
Take that back. Yes, it's yes. No,
It's
it's
yes
yes.
for
He's a winner.
me.
It's yes. He's a winner.
Y'all, can y'all vote in the comments? I'm gonna say yes. For the sake of the interaction between him and his friends. Um, it's a yes for me. Whatever y'all
Yes.
think. I'm waiting on the
Yeah,
chat.
it's a yes for me.
I'm gonna lean on no, but I also wasn't here for the whole conversation.
Oh, then don't vote on it then. Next one is low empathy. I think yes for this one.
I say yes.
I say
Yes.
no. Actually, I say no.
I say
Was
yes.
it?
We wait after to say. Oh.
Oh, because just from what I heard him say about like how he draws parallels to understand patriarchy and the way that women are oppressed by thinking about the ways that Black people are oppressed. Like I think that shows an effort to like put himself in somebody else's shoes and to really understand somebody else's experience that he doesn't have, and that is what kind of is the core of empathy. So that's why I said no.
Well, the reason I
I
say yes for this one is because He said he understands how patriarchy works, right? But then, the way he responded to his ex dealing with the breakup, I don't agree with that. He didn't give us a lot of information, but it was giving low empathy. Like, and that's also why I was on the fence about the entitlement. But chat says yes. We'll move on to the next one.
Wait, hold on. I also it's because he said that women's what women wanted was about being able to do what you want, which is part of it, yeah. But it didn't sound very empathetic, as if that's the that was the main thing. That's what made me.
Um, Next one would be envy, jealousy, and distrust.
Yes.
Why'd you say yes?
Um,
It's in the
based
chat,
on
y'all.
based on how he reacted to his ex and how he withdrew from her over the fact that she was with other men when they broke up and stuff.
The punishment. Yeah. He punished that lady.
Um, Any a third person want to vote on the panel? I heard Liz. I heard Rika. Summer, what you think?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. I heard the distrust, yes, but envy and jealous. You know what? Never mind. Yeah, about the breakup. Yes, I vote yes.
Well, it doesn't have to be. Well, okay. Yeah, that's a would be. All right, we got one more. Hold on, y'all. Last one: arrogance, haughtiness, and scorn.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say yeah.
Anybody want to say why they say yes?
To me, go back to the relationship, um, like like detaching from her.
That's it. Mm.
Yeah, that was it. So I just saw something. I'm sorry, but yeah, the detachment and kind of punishing her. That's what I know. He said that's not what he was trying to do, but that's what it seemed like to me. So
For my reasoning, I'll say when we asked a question about do you recall like times where you participated in patriarchy, his stories was more about, oh, my friends did this and I was complicit. It wasn't something personal. So I think there's this, from that, what I've gone was this level of like arrogance where I'm like, I was the good friend. I just so happened to be complicit in their wrongdoing. I didn't hear much about how he himself has participated in patriarchy, if that makes sense.
You want to say something? I'm about to do the collective poll. You gotta give me a second to do it. You want to say something, Moon?
Nah, man, pencils down. The test is over. It's time for grading.
I think what's interesting to me is like, because talking to you, I do think that they're like the way when Liz was saying, like you have empathy and like you have understanding based on like the comparison of racism. To me, it's like you are like your view with feminism is like a white liberal. That's how that's like the way I would put it. Like, yeah, like you understand, but I don't think you like are it's like it's very matter of fact, like you're detached from it. And I think that you know too much to be on the radical side where these men are like crazy with it because you know too much. So you just kind of fall into this like detached understanding of it. That's why I don't think it's really no empathy. Because I say this all the time, like when men actually wrap their mind around the plight of women, Like it would be uncomfortable for you to do certain things with women, especially knowing what you know internally. Like it ain't what everybody can figure out. It don't matter how well somebody vet. Like you still have desires and you're going to act on them. You just might try not to be as horrible as like some of these other men, but you definitely are going to, if you can, get whatever you could benefit from. You just want to do it maybe with more integrity, but it still doesn't mean that you don't play into having access to women who are basically, for lack of a better term, hostage to the social construct.
I think it's more subtle. For me, the big red flag was not being able to talk about personal experiences. Yeah, because that's a telltale sign that somebody's masking. Or being like we're like extremely vague when it like I get and I want to talk about your personal relationship, but some of the questions you could have been more open and honest about. That was a red flag for me. The
And
y'all do the poll about the end.
and
Only three people.
yeah, y'all vote. I think too that it's important because Moon is a friendly, right? And you seem okay. So it's important to have this conversation because we don't think that men who say some of the right things also are unable to unpack their own current misogyny. And that is the most dangerous part. Like, we know it's not a destination. We know you're not there. But, like, to be like, I can't think of a current thing, or I'm not really doing it, or I don't want to say, it feels like a major red flag. It feels scary because it's like,
So when you
it's
guys
liberal. It's
ask
very moderate, middle of the road. Yeah.
when you guys
Real quick,
ask
y'all. Hold on, real quick. So the survey results, only three people voted. A third of the people said 9. He was masking, and 2/3 said 8 is in him. So majority of
so
people, the ones who voted, is 7 and above would meet the criteria. So go ahead.
So to be fair, a lot of the questions that you guys asked, like just in the last year, I've been very detached, very nomad from my typical life. Like where I live, where I work, I'm not connected to anyone. Most of my dating has been long distance, so like a flight every 3 months. So I'm not very outside of my son. I'm not very socially interactive. So when you guys are asking for specific scenarios, like even the stuff we talked about, my kid's mom's relationship, that was 5 6 years ago. My most recent relationship only lasted 3 months, so I'm legit trying to
But not
draw
just
from
that.
scenarios I don't. And I also have very 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 poor memory, like old man memory, so it's not me being
No,
vague.
I can help
I
you
just
out. Let me help you out. Like when you said you proposed to your partner not because you had deep feelings for them, not because of how
no,
they
I didn't
made
say
you
that
feel
at
when they were
all.
around. No, no, no. You say you did it because of social expectations.
Wait,
Like
but
there's a
pause. I didn't.
disassociation.
But I didn't. My understanding of that question was not why did you propose to who you were with. You guys asked me how I felt about marriage, and I said that culturally, I think it's the
No,
right thing.
not ask you
You didn't
specifically
ask me
why
why
did
I
you
proposed.
propose.
You didn't ask me why I proposed to her though.
That would, I mean, you would think that would come up.
But again, you weren't. I'm just talking about marriage in general. So I gave it a blank canvas and said like if I were to marry in the future, but why specifically at that time.
You specifically, no, I remember your answer. You said you proposed to her because you wanted her to feel security, like you was committed, but you didn't talk about feelings at all. And I'm saying
Yeah,
that's
I
a
think that this
telltale sign of
conversation's been
disassociation.
I think that we've been having two separate conversations because to my understanding, I was just talking about marriage and getting engaged, and not why I proposed um, the one time that I
Yeah,
did.
but no, I asked you about your specific marriage because I said, why did you propose to your partner? And you're saying it was a
But
generic answer. That's fine for you
Yeah,
to
so
say it's
that and
generic, but
that's,
I'm saying the
but that
way.
would
Listen to what I'm
if you would have
saying.
asked me about her, if you would have asked me if I would have heard. So I'm not going to say that you didn't say that, but if I would have heard specifically for her, I would have had another answer. But that's probably why it sounded vague, is because I was being vague. I was
but
just
hold
talking
on.
about marriage.
If you feel that way about marriage, I don't care about marriage. I wouldn't even want to do it except for societal expectations. How could it be about her?
Yeah, because that was 6 years ago when I was
No, 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 no. But
completely.
it doesn't matter how long. How could it be about her if that's the way you feel it? So it's not
because
about
six
the
because
connection to the
6 years
person.
because 6 years ago, the way that I thought about marriage and relationships, and I was deep Christian. Like 6 years ago, deep Christian, deep in the book, church every Sunday. I need this from a partner. That's not who I am today, and it's not how I view marriage. I
That
married her
doesn't
because we were. I
that
got
doesn't
on
have
one
anything
knee
to do
because
with what
we
we're
were
talking
planning.
about.
We were planning for a child. We were
But that's not
finishing
what we're. These are
college. She was
separate
going
things. These
back.
are separate things.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
Oh
saying is my reasons for her specifically, and that's why I said I've been drawing on scenarios that are old and outdated. I'm not
no,
even
your
saying.
reasons for not just no, your reasons for marriage to her. And if it's about God, it was at the time. Doesn't mean it doesn't matter that you don't feel that way now. It was about God. It was about church. It was about family. About society. About whatever. That's not. It's about I just love this person. I just want to be with them forever. And I just she lights up my life. Whatever. So that's okay. We're not saying it.
But I think I gave much more of an answer than like even when I said that there were cultural aspects to it, there were societal pressures. I even said that it was a good way to show your partner that you saw a lifetime with them. Like I'm not as dense as that's why I said I don't know if we've been having the same conversation. If things sounded vague, that's fine, but I didn't feel the questions were specific enough for me to peel back a band-aid and be like, look, this is where I messed up. So I didn't even know we were talking about my specific engagement.
We're not even doing that. Here's the point. We were asking you specifically what you do to contribute, how you benefit. You couldn't come up with how you benefit from the patriarchy. We don't have to go into the details about you said and she said. That's not our business. But still, in
And
all of this,
even with the like,
somebody who talks moderately, who we think says cannot come up with one thing that he does, his privilege in the patriarchy. That's a big
but
red flag.
even with that question, like I could have said, even I don't know if I heard the question wrong. I know at the time that I was just talking about dating, but there are many other. Just being a man is enough to benefit from the patriarchy. I can walk down the street and not have to feel like the scary man's gonna grab my because I'm a man. I'm entitled to that sense of security. I think because I'm a man, there are many of things. If a woman wants my number and I say no, I don't feel like I'm gonna get the way that the question. I don't know. I guess I just received them wrong, but I don't. Like it's not
I
like
think
I sat around like I can't think of any way the patriarch benefits me. Yeah, the job applications, the interactions at the gas station. I can pump my gas safely. No one's gonna bother
I
me.
think because I said the selfish reason, because it's not
A
just that
selfish
it
thing that
benefits.
I.
Yeah, the thing
But
that
then
you
we
know
asked
it.
it.
Hold up. Something. What I'm saying
What?
is,
Okay.
you know, it benefits you and it's motivating. Like that's the motivating factor behind what you're doing. It's the way that and that's why I gave you the example about colorism because we have to be honest about how we're socialized and we are part of the problem. It's not just that, oh, this is what everybody else do. I don't do it because I know some things. No, I don't care how much you educate yourself on the topic. You're still going to do the thing. It may look different, but you're.
But I felt like I expressed what you just said when I said that even when white people, you can do all the studying you want. You can hang with the community. You can throw your fist in the air. You can protest, but you'll never understand what that fully is. And that's where I limited myself on my understanding of misogyny is I only have a bird's eye view and I can only like for instance the very first time I understood what it actually meant for a woman to tell a man no, giving her number out and feel like absolute terror or like what dating felt like was the first time a man asked me for my number and I felt like I was gonna have to box. Like, okay, this is can you go away? Like, and I from that experience, I could be like, well, that was just one experience for you, but that's the reality of just leaving the house for a woman, and it doesn't have to be the club. But that's as far as I can go with that understanding is, oh yeah, I get it. But I'll never understand what it actually feels like to be in fear of losing your life if you tell a man no or just don't smile at him.
Well, the reason I said it's masking is because I know that you understand that, right? We've heard you talk. But when we asked you about you, your personal selfish stuff, you could not name it. So if you know that, but you can't go further and think, what harm am I causing? Um, it seems like that's on purpose. Like I'm gonna come up here. I understandably like you don't want to. I would assume be seen as, some red pill guy, or, we pull your
But I don't
slick
have
like,
an
oh, you're
image
not
to
as,
protect up here. Like most of the time, that's why
then
it's a
why
little
couldn't you
confusing.
say it? Why couldn't you
It's
say,
a
you
little.
just named,
I
you,
think
you
that.
said, even as a man walking down the street and you could name things, we asked you so many different ways. It was as if you don't do nothing. That's other niggas, and that's in the past,
But
not you.
I don't think I've ever, because if I did it to, and that's why I haven't argued back. That's why I said pencils down, test over. If this was y'all's experience with me, that's perfectly valid. But I would never purposely try to push a. Nah, that's just those men over there. I
No,
don't do
no,
stuff
right
like that.
now. No, right now.
How am I?
I'm not
You
talking about
said
in the past. Right now,
right now I'm
today.
pushing a. Right now I'm pushing a. I'm.
Yes.
Oh
You
well,
you
okay.
finally said a little bit of walking down the street in the fear, because in only way you saw it was having the experience with a man. There's another step in empathy. You don't have to know to empathize. You don't have to actually be in a female body to empathize with
I
it.
think, and that's where we disagree, because I think that the only true way to empathize is you don't have to experience it firsthand, but is to be able to put yourself there. And the reason I can for certain scenarios, and that's why I was breaking down my own misogyny there. I said the only reason I was able to see it or really have a real experience of it was being there. And I said that most white people think that they understand the gripe of the experience of racism because they hung around us and they heard our stories and they feel that they empathize with them. But until you truly experience that, that's all that you have.
Okay, still, that's fine. We're not saying that you have to be like in that old movie Black Like Me and suddenly the person turns black to see what it is. You don't. You don't. You can still have empathy. And if you would think about it and think about, what have I done? What am I doing now? What am I doing in my day-to-day interactions, in these conversations, when I'm walking down the street, when I'm interacting with somebody on the phone, when I'm not just relationships or romance, then you get to the next step of it. But when a man who is just, I love, who said that? Was that Lynn that said it's about the liberal moderate thing? That's exactly what it feels like. Like, like talking to a corporate Democrat, and like, I'm hella progressive, you know?
Um, I
G,
agree
jump
with
in
you,
so we can
Summer.
survey you.
I agree with you, Summer. I think what I've gotten from this is that you have Big Moon, you basically have like this big picture type of thinking where it's like even the examples and the experiences you're pulling from are not experiences where it's like you're physically in it. It's like they're more, even when you bringing up examples about how patriarchy, how to like how you've seen patriarchy play out in your life, like job applications, walking down the street. It's like they're not personal stories. They're more like things that all people are kind of aware of. So I think that's kind of what's missing, is like the personal aspect of it, where you're pulling from actual life experiences that doesn't involve other people, where you're saying this is a time where I have indirectly or directly harmed a woman. Like, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I think that's I think where I'm getting from this
But
conversation.
that's
I
not
think.
that's what I'm trying to explain. It's a disassociation. It's like,
Hmm.
um if he's gonna reject it, I mean, it's so many ways you could say it, but there is a level of disassociation where it's like, um the answers are more like a because of a knowledge thing, not because of experience.
So, Tara, it's a little confusing for me, and it could just be the way that I process things. But I've even gotten up on a few of your panels and said stuff like admitted to stuff like, um, the way that when we were younger, we thought like groping women, like whether it be games in middle school, high school, like slap ass day, or like men breezing by women and like, excuse me, ma'am, and touching them on the waist. Like I've said multiple times, those were things that I
So do
thought
you
was
remember?
okay.
You
And
remember
but
when I said to you, when you said most men, I said don't talk about most men. I said talk about yourself. Do you remember when I said that?
yeah, but if we just
So
talking about what
you say
the
you're
if,
not understanding. And I'm trying to explain to you, right?
but
Just
it was only the only reason I said that was to relate it to what patriarchy has made me comfortable with and what it's made other men I'm not saying that this is
understand
the only
that, but
reason that I'm
listen,
not guilty. I'm not
you just
absolving
said.
myself of guilt.
I'm not saying that. You said you was confused. You didn't understand. I'm trying to explain to you. So even when you say, "Well, we used to do such and such," There's a difference between when somebody say we or us as a group versus I. That's what I was saying. There wasn't enough I examples. Is what
But
I
the
was.
conversation was around if that is a way of me absolving myself, then that's not what I was trying to do. But the
No,
conversation was centered
that's
around.
what I'm saying. Don't be defensive about it. Listen to what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to respond to what you asked, okay? Because I did that multiple times where I was trying to get you to focus solely on yourself. That's what I'm saying. That's a different level of vulnerability. If I say women, we do this, we do that, yeah. But if I say I do it, like I'm doing this thing, it's a different level of vulnerability. That's just the reality of the situation.
Okay, so that's why I said I don't know if this conversation has been received the same, because I've again in the past I've had no problem saying I did this, and the men in the comments are like, well, that's just you. Don't put that on all men. And I just sat with it. So it's not like I really need to absolve myself of, especially if I feel it's past behavior. I have no reason to. It's not something I feel like I'm gonna be held to a jury for today. I've accepted that those are past mistakes, and in hindsight, you understand things a lot better. But I was only
Well,
saying that at this point in time, society was the things that we accepted. We look back on today, and we're like, yeah, we that was none of that was okay. So,
Moon, one more time. Current, not past. And you yourself, not
and that's the
men.
issue is I literally
But no, but
I
every time
described
you
living like
answer,
a
you
I
wiggle. No, every time you answer, you wiggle away to the past or other men.
because I'm
And
not
we say,
doing
I hear you.
anything
You've done it.
currently.
No, you are doing something currently. How are you? How are you a man in the patriarchy, raised here with the privileges you have? Like you just said, walking down the street, this, that, whatever. You're not doing anything. You've arrived. You're
You wanted me to
completely
draw on.
anti-misogynistic
No, I'm not.
right
I'm not
now.
saying I've arrived at anything, but you guys wanted experiences, and I don't have any because I live like a nomad at the moment. I go to work, I pick up my kid, and I come home outside of a every 3 month vacation.
All of those things, when you go to work, even if it's online remote, you interact with people in some ways. When you go pick up your
Not
kids,
even a
you get
little
in the
bit.
line and pick it up, right?
Not even
When
a
you go
little
to the
bit.
store, when you have things delivered, when you talk to your mama, your auntie, your cousin, your friend, when somebody calls you or texts you, when a lady walking down the street interacts with you, you get your tires done, when you go to Walmart, whatever, you are not completely alone on an island, and you interact with women and you cause harm. And where does misogyny show up in your life? What are you doing? What privileges do you have? What benefits do you have? You're not able to have this conversation. I don't know why. I thought you would, but for some reason I can't do it. I don't know.
What's up, Dark Horse?
Damn, you called on me as soon as I had a piece of ice. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to just say that when we've had like the conversations just amongst us women where we're being vulnerable and we're talking about internalized misogyny, ours is always current, and we acknowledge, right, that even though it does not benefit us, we will never be done with it. So the idea that men who benefit from it are done with it, but we aren't, is fucking weird. It just doesn't, that dynamic can't make sense, that something that benefits you, you washed your hands of it. And the people who are oppressed by it and it hurts understand they'll never be done with it. So that's when it's like we can't have a genuine conversation, because as the people who are oppressed by it, we understand we're not getting out of it. But you somehow have found a way to get out unscathed, unbothered, and not participating in it, even though it benefits. Just fucking weird. That's it. That's
The
all I
way
wanted to
that I
say.
describe myself today is, did I describe myself as someone who no longer practices patriarchy and has absolved himself of any participation in it?
I missed the whole MPD like quiz. I wasn't in here. I'm just saying that if the conversation was tell me how you participate and everything is we, them, their, friends, used to, back in the day, I fixed it now. I'm still not getting a current picture of how you are in it right now. But I may have missed that because I'm late coming to the conversation.
There's one, like, you cause harm. Here's the thing is, like, you said essentially that you have friends who have really problematic views, worldviews. You mentioned someone being a Trump supporter that you're friends with, right? And then you also mentioned that you don't necessarily bother to like have these conversations with them because they kind of go nowhere and they just become circular and like what's the point? Right? Did I mishear that?
No, not at all. And I even paralleled it to the conversations like you have with Trump supporters, and you say this is affecting us this way, this policy is this, and then you join that same live every day having the same conversation, and you're stuck at the same crossroads with these people. I have friends that are Trump supporters or right leaning. We have the same conversations, whether it be about pew pew rights or anything like that. And if I'm supposed to be drawing, there are things that I will draw a line in the sand for and say, we just can't be friends anymore. And if my level of tolerance is too high, then that's up for judgment by others. But
So like
that's
you're in community though with people who like agree with or at least voted for the party that is in agreement with and supports and actively like perpetuates the unaliving of women because of lack of access to childbirth that's currently happening in this country.
I'll
Or
say that yes. I'll
the
say that
forced
yes. I
birth
know.
of like children being forced to give birth because they were essayed by, let's say, an uncle or a family member, and possibly their lives are now put in danger. Like those things, you're in community with people who support that and voted for that.
I'm in community with people who don't have that level of understanding that you have. Their understanding is that there will be exceptions. They're for exceptions. They're not for. These are not Charlie Kirk right wingers I'm talking about. But in their heads, they think that smortion is bad and black people unalive too many babies, and like these are sentiments they have. They think that they are doing something positive, and there are bad um effects of those thoughts. But I am in community with people who just have a different line of thinking. I don't think that their line of thinking is right. I do think it's harmful, but I don't see myself going through life cutting off everyone who isn't getting it right. I think
But
that's
that's the privilege of misogyny and patriarchy, because they don't affect you. If those same people said, "I agree, we should stop, and frisk," and that officer should be able to unalive you for opening your mouth. If they say anything about it's instant child support and we ain't giving you no test, you pay in the first 9 months, get your money back after the baby born. Or if they did things to attack you, you wouldn't be around them.
But the things that they
You
vote
wouldn't
for
be.
do it. I don't think that the things that they're voting for don't adversely affect me. Like we've had personal conversations about how the administration would get rid of IEP programs or defund the Department of Education, and I've talked to them personally. Like, hey, I got a kid who has an IEP. If you do anything, vote for your nephew. You know what I'm saying? But that's not enough to move the needle for them, and I don't hold them close and dear enough to be like, well, just these are people I commune with at the basketball court and through group messages. But to me, it's not. It's
But
not
that's
so.
but that's all you have as a male. I mean, man, that's all. I love male. That's all you guys have as men. That's the extent of y'all relationships. So why y'all say it ain't that deep? Y'all don't have no deep relationships. That's really the
I don't. I
extent.
wouldn't say,
It's
but
hanging out at the
these are
gym
the
and
people that
sexing.
are okay.
Y'all don't have deep emotional connections. So while you say it's superficial, it's not that deep. That's as far as you got. So if that is the relationship you have, then it's shitty. It's not like, hey, these are down here and these are top tier. Y'all don't have those kind of connections. That's the what all men's relationship look like. It's a group chat.
But it's never so much so that like I'll concede that.
Um, you want to answer the question now?
What question is that?
So it goes in when I was asking about self awareness. How are you? Um, like what selfish reason? Like self. My Lord, how did I say it? Um, how are you upholding the patriarchy in a selfish way, not by accident, but something you're doing on purpose that you recognize as part of your conditioning?
I can't say I have an answer for that. If that makes me like dense or unwilling to go that deep, that's fine. But I'm at the same
But
crossroads. I think that's the question you asked me earlier, and I kind of just was like, I'm really thinking. But I can't say that I
you're
have
fine.
any. I can't say that I have any selfish thing that I'm doing that upholds. And maybe I'm just not aware of it. That's fair. But I don't have
That's why I
something that I'm.
started it by asking if you had self awareness because if you're actually actively unpacking that you would have a list of things. This is why I gave the example earlier. It's the uncomfortable truth because it's uncomfortable to say, right? It's
What's a
uncomfortable
common
to
one for
say.
men? What's a common one for men? Like, what's something common
I don't
men
want
do
to say the
selfish?
common. I'm gonna tell you why I don't want to say common because I feel strongly against giving answers to men. I think that you should think about it, and then when you think about it, feel free to come back and let us know what you came up with.
Yeah, like we specifically know how our internalized misogyny shows up. Specific, like
Yeah, we'll mention it
hella,
casually in conversation.
hella specific. Like, yeah, the list is actually never ending. I'm going mute.
That we might target somebody and like, oh damn, like I'm talking to them because this is some internalized misogyny shit right now. Like that I might not like somebody, they ain't did shit to me, or I'm wishing some harm on some woman. Internalized misogyny. Um, but when you unpacking, it's not hard to answer that question. It may be uncomfortable initially, but it's no longer hard to answer the question. So if you
Um,
saying, because I see you put in the comment, if you saying you don't understand it, why can't you just believe us when we say that you're not there yet?
I don't, Tara, to be fair, I don't think I've given any pushback on where I am, how good of a man I am or not. Like I literally just roll with whatever y'all said, roll with the punches, and I'm like, I'm listening. So I don't think that I've said I am here, I am this. I haven't even defended myself.
No, you said I can't name one. I don't think I have one currently because I live this nomadic life. I live this nomadic life. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it right
and
there.
I
That's
don't.
how you're saying that you
When
don't
you
have
ask
any.
me for a selfish, like something selfish I'm doing to that upholds the patriarchy, and I'm like, I don't know. That's not me being like willfully ignorant or like playing in anyone's face. I really don't. So and y'all say go work on it, and when you come get an answer, come back. I'm like, all right, cool. But that's all I can do with that at the moment.
mhm. There's I was looking up this word. The word I was looking for this whole time was introspective, because I think retrospective was kind of reflecting back on past situations where being introspective. I don't know why I'm explaining it, but that's the word I was looking for. Introspective is kind of like reflecting on current stuff. So I think maybe you're definitely not all the way introspective, as in you're not looking at your actions, your day-to-day actions, and seeing like, oh, selfishly or unselfishly how it could be upholding patriarchy. So I think I don't know if you're just avoiding it, or I also think you simply probably don't know, but it's about taking the time to figure out, like through your day-to-day life, even through your nomad life, where it's like, oh, actually, how can this relate back to patriarchy, if that makes sense?
And I'm gonna be honest about it. If you not unpacking, not especially in when it comes to patriarchy being a man, like you are like causing harm in real time. And that was already stated, but like whether you know that you're causing harm does not matter to the person feeling the impact of it.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I want to jump in and say kind of the passive participation thing, right? And because one of the tenets of misogyny and patriarchy is I'm going to focus on me and mine. Every man is on this me and mine. Even if they don't have a mind yet, they're trying actively to get a mind, whether it's a wife and kids, whatever. But it's all about me and then they kind of close themselves off from the world in this box, and they just say, I'm just going to worry about my household and what I do on a day-to-day basis. And that selfish mindset is a benefit of being a man in a patriarchal system. You can say, fuck everything else. I'm good, but you are good because you have been gifted and handed down the benefit of being a man in this society. A lot of things will not affect you. You can go about your daily life and still win and still be successful and don't have to worry about those things. But that ignorant bliss that you get to exist in, even though you're thinking, oh, I'm not doing anything actively, that passive participation in this whole thing is the same thing. You're still enjoying the benefits of it. So if you're not getting oppressed by it, then you are the oppressor. There's only two lanes. And if you on a day-to-day basis do not feel oppression, then you are the oppressor. There are only two categories. There's no in between where you get to kind of float in the middle and say, I'm not part of this, like kind of leave me out of it. And I think that's what the idea is. It's, hey, I'm not doing what he over there is doing. I'm just going to be the observer. I didn't hit her, but you didn't intervene either, you know? So whatever the harm is, you're like, I'm not the one doing the harm. But that bystander effect has real implications because 99% of the people are the bystanders, right? You know, it's a small percent that's committing the harm, but they can commit it because they count on the 99% to stay quiet. That's it.
This might be a little more uncomfortable, but I'm gonna say it. As a father to a son, like if you're not unpacking those things and identifying them, then you're gonna pass them on to your son, which is cool. That's how it's we keep passing it down to the next generation.
Also, I do want to add a piece about that, kind of add on to that about like how also in like the digital world, I think we have to take that into account when we're also talking about patriarchy because maybe why you're struggling to pull examples or pull from experiences is you're thinking about it in a specific way or specific scenarios where you could also see it in how you interact in the digital world and how patriarchy shows up there, you know, what kind of media you interact with. And I don't want to say too much, but yeah.
When she said digital, I started thinking corn, because
Exactly. I didn't want to
I'm
say
a
too
nasty
much.
motherfucker. But that's not what so then I had to switch lanes. Like, ooh, could it be something else? Me going out of my way to find media that is women led is like hard, but I have to make a conscious effort to make sure that I put things in front of my children that show women lead, women in strong roles, women in male dominated fields, or what have you, to reverse some of the programming. That if we just let whatever we're going to come across the TV come across, 97% of it can be man based, the man leading the violence, the man being the hero, all those things. So those are some of the conscious things that we do, where you can just enjoy a man being an assassin. You're like, that was a great movie, or what have you. And we're specifically looking for, is there a woman who's an assassin and getting away with it? Is there a woman who's a billionaire and getting away with it? Is there a woman who's president? Is there a woman who is inventing things? Is there a woman who's a leader? So there are things that we specifically are looking for that men don't have to. They can just enjoy whatever they enjoy for that reason. But do we see them leaning and saying, my most favorite, type of media or movies are ones that show women's empowerment? No, that's not the thought. But those are some of the things that we say as the oppressed. We actually have to go out and seek or what have you, so we can get that affirmation, versus men, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that was also why I was asking him because Liz asked about his favorite movies and all of this. So like it's also like perceptions. Like, are you watching movies by women that have you watched enough that when you name your favorite movies that they show up on your list? Like,
Right. And that's exactly why I asked it. Yeah.
All right. Well, anybody else want to say something before I end the live? Okay, I guess not.
Well, sorry, it took me a second to unmute. I think just that, like, if you're not reading, I know that for me, reading books has been instrumental in unpacking something that I am not oppressed by, which is racism. If I didn't read anything, like, I feel like I would just be, it would come down to like just parroting talking points that I heard other people just say, like
Well, that
in
was a
lives and stuff.
dishonest. That was a dishonest answer. I didn't want to say yes. I read, and I couldn't name what books I'm currently reading. Like, there's a book in my car right now. I have a bookmark in that I can't remember the title of that I'm actively reading. I got
What is the book about?
It's a nonfiction book. Who is it by? It's called Be More Careful. I couldn't remember at the time, but it's a power type book. Black struggle. You could Google that one. But a young lady raised in Baltimore. She's in a scenario where she's homeless. At least at the part I'm at, she's homeless. She just robbed a guy via Smex work. They held him at knife point by his private part to make it through the night. But yeah,
How much of the book have you read?
chapter 3. That's where I'm at.
And so far, what's something that like a connection you made reading it?
I haven't made any connections. It's just a cool story.
Was the book written by a woman?
Is it by Zane? Is that a Zane book? I don't think it's a Zane book. Hold on.
Oh, Zane. It's a freaky book, huh?
No, it's not Zane. I think I read it though, but it's been so long ago. It's an old book.
I do Sunday dinner with the family out here where I stay now, and the lady who cooks, she gave me the book to read for a little while.
All right, well, we'll wait for you to come back and tell us what it was about.
Wait. You said the lady do Sunday dinner. Have you done Sunday dinner for her since you've been out there?
No.
I grilled last Sunday, actually. Yeah.
I ain't gonna ask all the questions because I know what grilling mean too.
Nah, this ain't that.
I know be knowing what grilling mean too.
That don't mean I went outside and put the meat she seasoned on the grill. That's not what that means.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I said do the whole meal. That's why I said, have you done the whole Sunday dinner?
Nah, last Sunday was my Sunday, and this Sunday is her son's Sunday, so we'll be at his place.
Okay, all right. I like that. I'm just making sure. I've been invited to a cookout before, and I know what that means.
That's why
Do y'all already have a charcoal? Did y'all already get the lighter fluid? Did y'all already got that?
Yeah.
Did they show up with their goddamn Jesus sandals on? I'm like, yeah.
Well, these days is Crocs. We ain't got that.
Correct. All right.
I'm ending this shit. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.